Good evening, folks. Sorry for taking a second or two to get organized here. I am not at home tonight, and obviously when you're in a different environment you need to sort yourself out. Now I must be honest with you, I hope that the lighting is going to be okay. If not, I'll move. But then you will have to tell me that the lighting is not okay, because I won't know it unless you tell me. Any case, Thursday night, and as per usual, TikTok Live, we do some Q&A with regards to financial advice and financial services. So please go ahead, if you have any questions, put it in the chat, and then I'll try and answer it for you. Once again, if the lighting is not very good, please tell me. Let's see. I honestly don't know how good or how bad this is. I wonder if I should not move. Any case, let's see. Where is my mouse? My mouse has disappeared. There's my mouse. I've got that back. Folks, like I said, I'm not sure about the lighting, and I don't know if there is something around the corner. Okay, let's try it. Let's see what we can manage here tonight. Good evening, good evening, good evening, good evening. I will answer your questions to the best of my abilities. And please, like I say, to those of you that are already online and are ready to post your questions, please do tell me if the lighting is okay. If it's not, I will have to move to a different room and see if it works better somewhere else. At the moment, I'm not 100% sure. It looks like it's a bit too dark. Any case, there's not a question yet, so I suppose it's not too much of a problem yet. In the meantime, good evening to Danielle and Berry and Alvin and Penny and Kelly and Katlego and Desi and Nomzotjo, and everybody as you're coming in. Good evening, Kami and Kay and Lala 45 and LP. Good evening, folks. Good evening. Welcome to Thursday Evening Live. Rennie and Robin and who's that? Enlightened Spirit. Good evening, Enlightened Spirit. Okay, so if you say it looks dark, but you don't have a ring light, yes, I don't have one here. Thank you for that comment. Is it okay though? Or should I move to a different area with different lighting? I think I should move. I think I should move to something with the, because even I'm struggling here. So let's take the laptop, go to the next room. If we run out of battery power, we shall come back. Let's see if it's better in here. Now, this already looks substantially better. This looks substantially better. Okay, I think this is going to work much better than where I was. It's just one room on, but there we go. Thank you, Desi. Thank you very much. Thank you, says it's dark. Thank you, Desi. Maybe, you see, this is the thing. Even though I make a lot of videos, I don't have this technical knowledge about where lighting should be and how it should be or anything to that effect. I just basically go with the flow. I just make my videos and I hope for the best. But it seems like we are... Yes, I think it seems a bit better. Thank you very much. Next time I will hopefully be better organized. So, let's jump ahead and let's get some questions going tonight. It's a cold Thursday night. Winter is here in all its glory. And I feel these days like every evening when it reaches about 6 o'clock, I just want to do one thing, that's get into bed with a book. Go and chill, thanks to winter. But tonight we first do a bit of TikTok live, and I see there's some other people coming in here. See, some people I do recognize, others I don't. Daisy, thank you very much. You've helped with the lightning. Now you've helped with the first question of the evening. What are the pros and cons of an endowment plan? Can someone in their 30s or 40s take it? Absolutely, Daisy. An endowment plan is ideal for, I would say, anybody at any age of life. Okay. So what is the pros of an endowment? The pros of an endowment is that you can choose the portfolios in your investment. So you can go and choose any type of portfolio that you want, be it conservative, medium risk, high risk, it doesn't matter. So you can go and choose anything of your liking. The second benefit to an endowment is the fact that it's taxed within the endowment. That means all capital gains tax that you will pay on growth of your investment, on any capital growth that you make, is taxed already in the investment. So because it's taxed in the investment, when you start withdrawing money from your endowment, and it doesn't matter how you draw the money, it doesn't matter whether you start drawing it at some stage as an income or whether you start drawing it as a lump sum, it doesn't matter. It's after tax money. And the good thing about that is, especially if people going to retirement, their pension fund money, their retirement annuities, their pension funds and provident fund, the income that they will get from that is fully taxable. And if you have a very substantial capital amount which provides you with this income, and you start earning an income that is substantial, equal to what you were earning in your working years, your tax rate will be the same as what it was in your working years. But if you have an endowment that can supplement that pension fund income, then you can actually reduce your pension fund income, which means that you pay a reduced tax because you're in a lower tax bracket, and you can take after tax income from your endowment. You can put the two together to give you the total income that you need, but now you pay substantially lower tax. You're in a lower tax bracket. That nice thing about endowment is you can leave it as long as you want. The only limitations with an endowment is that the original investment has to stay invested for 5 years in order for you to start getting the after-tax benefits. So if you have an endowment, let's say you start at the age of 20, you can keep that endowment until you are 65. You can have it for 45 years. But 5 years into it, from the age of 20, 25. From the age of 25, anytime thereafter, you can start drawing this after-tax income or after-tax capital. So those are the benefits for me, mainly with regards to it, is that it gives you after-tax growth, it gives you a long time horizon and any type of portfolio that you can make use of it, and it helps with regards to your future planning, especially when it comes to income and tax-freeness. The only real negative, the only con about a endowment, according to me, is the fact that in the first 5 years, you are limited to the amount of times that you can make withdrawals. In the first 5 years, you can only make 2 withdrawals. And you can choose to draw everything in those first 2 years, or in those 2 withdrawals. But the important thing is, let's say you've got 100,000 Rand invested, and 2 years down the line you need 5,000 Rand, you can go and draw it. It's withdrawal number 1. And in year number 4, you want to draw money again, and you need to draw 10,000 Rand, you can do it, but the rest must then stay in the endowment. So if it comes to the point that you make 2 withdrawals before the end of the 5th year, then it's just important for people to go and do their planning properly, because they should know that whatever they leave in that endowment, whatever the term is that's left, has to stay there until the end of the 5th year. So it's a flexibility thing, a liquidity thing. That, according to me, is the major drawback on endowment. But again, it's only in the first 5 years, so it's not such a big story. And the other thing is the tax situation. If your personal tax rate is lower than 30%, it would have been better to be invested in endowment, because in in a unit trust, if your tax rate is less than 30%, it would have been better to be invested in a unit trust. Because in a unit trust, the growth is taxed in your hand. So it's not taxed in the investment like an endowment and you get the money after tax. In a unit trust, you receive all the funds when you withdraw. And then only at that point does the capital gains tax get calculated according to your personal tax bracket, and then you have to sort it out to SARS. So if you are in a lower than 30% tax bracket, then normally a unit trust is the better option. It is, however, for me, not a major problem, because the majority of people that takes out an endowment for the future and that is in a lower than 30% tax bracket eventually build up their income to the point where they are, in any case, in a higher than 30% tax bracket. And the thing is, with unit trust specifically, you are not taxed when you start investing according to your tax bracket. You're taxed at the point that you withdraw your money. So if you start as a youngster to invest in a unit trust, and let's say you're in a tax bracket of 18%, and then 20 years down the line, you want to withdraw the funds, but now you have had increases in salary, your position has changed, everything. You've moved up in salary brackets to the point where you are now on a 41% tax bracket. Then you get taxed at that point at 41% and not at the 18% that you started investing in. So that is the only two little things with endowments, and in my personal opinion, those two little negatives on endowments is so small that I don't even see it as big negatives, and it should not have a deciding factor for anybody if they want to make investments. Okay, Desi, so that was a bit of a long explanation. I hope it has told you what you want to know. And everybody that listened to that now never ever has to go to any advisor to talk to them again about endowments and unit trust, because they know everything. Zoink. Zoinked the monkey. Zoinked monkey. Explain life insurance. Okay, let's give it a shot. So life insurance is pretty much the simple answer to life insurance is life insurance is normally seen as life cover that you take out. You choose a lump sum amount, a big amount, and you say, in the event that I die, I want this big amount, let's call it 1 million rand, to be paid out to my beneficiaries. I am currently the breadwinner in the house. I'm the one that earns an income, and because I'm earning an income, I am the one that my family relies on a month-to-month basis to have food, lodging, vehicles, everything like that. My family relies on me for everything. If I were to pass away tomorrow due to anything, a sickness, an accident, anything to that effect, if I should pass away tomorrow, then my income falls away. And if my income falls away, then my family is destitute, because nobody else in my family is the breadwinner. I'm the breadwinner. So then you take out life cover in order to make provision that if you pass away, then that life cover can start providing your family with the income that you were providing for them while you were alive. That, in short, is what life insurance is. Now, life insurance that you take out can also be taken out as a monthly income insurance. So you can choose to get life insurance in the sense of saying, I earn 20,000 Rand a month, I want a 20,000 Rand income to be paid to my family in the event that I pass away, and not a lump sum. So you can choose it like that. Alternatively, an advisor like myself will sit and do a calculation for you to say, okay, you're earning 20,000 Rand per month, you want to make provision for your family for the next 25 years because you are 40 years old now and you need to make provision until the age of 65 if something should happen with you.
And I then go and calculate how much life cover do you need as a lump sum, that if we take that lump sum and we go and invest it in an income plan for your family, that they will still get the income. So that's what life insurance is. Now that life cover that we've just discussed, exactly the same for disability cover and severe illness cover. As the breadwinner, if you become disabled and you can't work anymore, you can't bring money in anymore. So if you take our disability cover and now you become disabled because of a car accident or sickness or something, you can't work anymore but you're still alive, then disability cover starts doing the same thing as what the life insurance will do, or the life cover. And severe illness, although severe illness is very much seen like disability cover, that it should replace an income, severe illness to me is more additional capital that whatever your medical aid does not pay for when it comes to your medical treatment, whatever your medical aid does not pay for, your severe illness can normally take care of. Or you can use it to go and pay off your car or your house or whatever, so that while you have the sickness and you're fighting it, you don't have to have financial concerns. So that's life insurance, the quick and dirty on that. And basically I have some address for you, all three, life cover, disability and severe illness in one go. Let's see who's next. Leah, travel and lifestyle, what's the best way to invest 500k once off for the next 25 years for retirement? Oh, Leah, I get this question so often. And the only thing that differs is normally the amount and how long people want to invest the money for. And I keep on saying to people, I can't really tell you, because every person's circumstances are different. For some people, it might actually make sense to go and invest that full 500,000 Rand into a retirement annuity, because they will get the tax rebate on the investment. So they not only want a substantial pension in the future from this 500,000, but at this stage right now, they also have a tax problem. So if they invested into a retirement annuity, they kill two birds with one stone. On the one side, they're going to get the annual tax rebate that they can get on their total salary, and number two, they are making provision for the future. With 500,000 Rand, a portion of it will even roll over to next year, and in the next year you can also get a tax rebate. So you can sort out two problems with one by putting it into a retirement annuity, if that is what is a need for you at that stage. If not, then the endowment option that we've just discussed is a very, very good option, because in an endowment, the money is available after 5 years, but completely available. So it's liquid and you can leave it for 25 years. So the difference between the investment opportunities with an endowment and a retirement annuity is that in a retirement annuity, you can't be as aggressive as an endowment. In an endowment, you can choose portfolios, which is equity portfolios or share portfolios. In a retirement annuity, you can only have 75% equity or share in there. So for all intents and purposes, if you choose a very aggressive fund, a 100% share fund on an endowment and a 75% share fund on a retirement annuity, over a 25-year period, the aggressive fund should substantially outperform the retirement annuity. So that might be an option, because it will give you an after-tax income at retirement. Okay? The other option would be unit trust, where you have immediate liquidity, but now that's more aimed, I would say, at people with a lower tax rate. So your tax rate is going to make a determination as to what's the best. So I've just mentioned three potential products that you can make use of. Now, other things I don't know about is I don't know what your family situation is. I don't know if you've got emergency funding, if there's a crisis in your life. I don't know if you have to provide for that. I don't know if you've got big debt, such as credit card debt, because if you've got big debt, it's better to pay that debt off before you start investing. Paying off a debt that charges you 21% interest is much better than investing in an investment that even gives you 12 or 14% return on investment. So I don't know your assets and liabilities, I don't know your debt situation, I don't know your family situation, I don't know your emergency fund situation. And for this reason, I cannot tell you, Leah, what would be the best investment just based on a question like that. The only way that I can honestly say to you, listen here, I think your 500,000 must go into product A, B or C, is if I have a consultation with you, I get all this information, I do a planning session, and then I tell you. Okay, Leah, so I know it's maybe not the answer that you want, because it's normally not the answer people want. They actually just want to straightforward tell me what to do with my money, but it's never that straightforward. So Leah, I hope that helps you. And if you want to make an appointment, well, then you must just let us know and we will set something up, okay? Okay, folks, let's go on and see what is next. Who is next? Not what is next, who is next? Pleasure, Desi. Oh, and then Leah is back with a follow-up question. Thank you, Leah. Leah says, is it better to invest in the S&P 500 on easy equities in rands or in dollars? So I honestly don't know easy equities products that well. Okay, I have to admit I don't. But the S&P 500, okay. So the S&P 500, what you must remember, the S&P 500 is actually an international fund. It's actually a fund that is created or was created based on American markets. And Stand-up has created, or Satrix has created an S&P 500 fund in South Africa. So, when you invest your money, okay, and this is the way I understand it with our investments that we do through insurers like Old Mutual, Sanlam, Liberty, Allan Gray, Satrix. You invest your money in South Africa, in the S&P 500 fund, you give the money to the insurer, to Satrix. Or, yeah, to Satrix, and you say to them, please put it in your S&P 500 fund. They then take that money and they go and invest it. And normally, they do it in the form of asset swap. So to take the money, they asset swap it internationally, they invest it there in the S&P 500, and then they bring it back to South Africa again. Now, I do believe with this S&P 500, there's two options that you can do it. And I think this is what you're referring to. So the one is to say, I invested in South Africa, and because the S&P 500 is basically a tracker fund that tracks the S&P 500, it says, let's mirror what happens in America, but in South African rand. So we don't worry about what happens between the rand and the dollar exchange rate. So if the S&P 500 does 12%, in South African rands, in South African portfolio, that's what you're going to get in terms of return. But then you can also do it as an asset swap. So they take your money, they swap it into US dollars, they invest it in the same fund, but now it's directly invested in the American fund. Now, when you take your money back, if the rand has weakened against the dollar, you won't get 12%, but you'll get 40%. If the rand has strengthened against the dollar, you won't get 12%, you'll get 10%. So it's an either-or situation. Now, which is the best? My personal opinion is that we should have 70 to 80% of our funds invested internationally or via asset swaps, via global equity funds. And that's what I would say. So on your 500,000 rand, depending on whether you can actually take that risk, okay? Because I'm talking about an aggressive investment. Not everybody can do aggressive investments. So Leah, in your situation, once again, same as with the explanation I gave you about I have to do a planning session to determine which product you can go into. I have to do a planning session with you to see how much risk you can actually take, what you're comfortable with. And only then can I tell you, okay, invest in this S&P 500 fund 100% in order to get maximum growth, or no, you know what, because you are a bit more conservative, you should have it more in a balanced type of fund. So what we should do is we should rather put like 60-70% in that S&P 500 and 30-40% into a balanced fund or a smooth fund, and that combination will put you in a risk category that will give you more peace of mind. So once again, it's a planning thing. I can't tell you honestly straightforward which one to do. And to come back to the original question, easy equities, I don't deal with easy equities. I have never. I know that everybody talks about them, but personally, because I don't make use of that platform, I've never really looked at Easy Equities and made a determination to say it's good, bad, or anything like that. The thing is, with Easy Equities, it's the platform where you as an investor can go and make your own choices, do your own direct investments without the financial advisor giving you any guidance. So you take all the responsibility of the choices there. And you have to then choose for yourself or decide for yourself which would be the best when you go to them. Okay, Leah, thank you very much for the question. And I hope I've answered it properly for you. I think I have. Let's see who's next. D. Clef, Ador, Zoya. Hello, says, hello, good evening. Explain the difference between a life annuity and a living annuity. Okay, hello. I will explain the difference between a life annuity and a living annuity. So let's look at the living annuity first. Okay, a living annuity is where you take your 2/3 pension. Let's assume it's your 2/3 pension, and you go and invest it into an investment where you can choose once again all the funds that you want to invest in. The S&P 500 we spoke about, you can use global funds, balanced funds. You can put the money literally in any funds of your choosing. Okay, those funds of yours will now grow as well as your portfolio is growing. So let's say that you've made use of a fund that's giving you a 12% return on investment. Your capital that you've invested will now give you 12% growth. But because it's a living annuity, you are allowed to draw an income from it, and you must draw an income from it. And that income you choose for yourself. So you choose anything between 2.5% to 17.5%. So if we work on R1 million, and let's say you choose to take 2.5%, you will get 25,000 Rand income for the year. But because you're getting 12% growth, you get 120,000 Rand growth. So effectively at the end of the year, your million has grown with 120,000 Rand because of the growth you got in that portfolio, and it came back down with 25,000 Rand because that's the income that you drew. So your million Rand is now worth 1,095,000 if my calculation is right. So that's a living annuity. The living annuity value keeps on moving up and down depending on how good your portfolio does and how much income you draw. The life annuity on the other side. On the life annuity, you take that same 2/3, that same R1 million, you go to an insurance company and they say, okay, we're going to give you a lot of choices that you can make. Number one, you can choose the guaranteed term that you want. So that guaranteed term says anything from literally 0 years to 25 years. So the guaranteed term is the one that says, if I choose a 10-year guaranteed term, it doesn't matter whether I'm alive or dead. The money will pay out, the income will pay out for 10 years. So if I take it out in year 1, I die in year 1, the money will pay out for 10 years to my beneficiary. The guaranteed term then also says that if you live past the 10 years, okay, and let's say you live for 30 years, it says we will pay you for 10 years or lifelong thereafter. So if you survive this 10-year guaranteed period that it would have paid out to beneficiaries, for the rest of your life, for as long as you live, we will keep on paying you this income. It doesn't matter. So that's the first and the most important guarantee on a life annuity. Then you can choose things such as, do you want the income to stay the same or do you want the income to increase? Do you want to be just you on the life annuity? Do you want it to be you and your spouse or beneficiary? So you've got a number of choices with regards to guarantees that you make. The insurer then says, okay, I'm going to take your money, and based on these guarantees that you've chosen, I'm giving you this fixed amount. They determine the amount up front. They say, we're giving you this fixed amount as an income on a monthly basis, and we will give it to you for the rest of your life with increases level, whatever you've chosen, and we will never ask a question. We will just guaranteed give you the income. The only time that we will stop the income is when you die. And if you die after the guaranteed term, it stops there and that's over and done with. If you die within the guaranteed term, we keep on paying it to your beneficiaries. So that's the difference. On the living annuity, then if you die on the living annuity and you have not used up all your capital, it goes to a beneficiary. On the life annuity, if it's within the guaranteed term, the money goes to a beneficiary. If it's past the guaranteed term, nothing goes to the beneficiary. And that's the difference. So on the living annuity, normally people that are willing to take the risk that's associated with growth in portfolios, take that. On life annuities, the people that says, listen, I don't want to have any risk, I don't want to worry about markets, I don't want to worry about portfolios up and down, I just want to know I'm always going to get my income, that's normally where they go. Okay, hello, I hope that explains it well enough. Please tell me if it does not. Next D. Next D says, I'm shocked to hear today that I can't choose a beneficiary on my bank tax-free saving account. Why is that? Well, there is not one bank account. Okay, not one. Not a money market account, not your current account or your check account, not any of your savings accounts, no transmission accounts, 7-day, 30-day, 60-day call accounts, fixed deposits, tax-free savings, any bank accounts. You cannot nominate beneficiaries on. That's just what the law says. Can't nominate a beneficiary. In the event that you die, the money that's in your bank, irrespective of what account it's in, must go to your estate, and your executive from the estate must then pay the money out to the various beneficiaries. That's why it's so important to have a will. It's actually exactly the same for unit trust. On unit trust as well, you cannot nominate the beneficiary. So bank accounts, all bank accounts and all unit trusts, you cannot nominate beneficiaries. The money must go to your estate, and in your estate, the executive of this estate will decide who has been nominated in the will, and he or she will then pay the money out to those beneficiaries. It's only on retirement annuities, endowments and life cover that you can choose beneficiaries and where the money pays out directly to the beneficiaries without going into your estate. That is what the law says. That is what the insurance law says. So that's all I can say. When you say why is that, it's because it's a legislative rule. Okay. Let's see who's next. Nom Zotya. Is there age restrictions for taking a retirement annuity? As a matter of fact, there ain't. As a matter of fact, there is no age restriction when it comes to. Wait, hang on a second. There we go. There is no age restrictions when it comes to retirement annuities. You can take out a retirement annuity for your child the day that they get born. As soon as you've got a birth certificate, you can take out a retirement annuity for a child. So there's absolutely no age limit on it as to when you can take it out. There is also no age limit that says when you must take it. A few years ago, the laws in South Africa still stated that you must retire by the age of 70 at the latest, 70. That's when you had to retire, and then you had to choose what you're going to do with your retirement annuities. That law has changed, and now it says you never have to retire from it. You can choose when you want to retire. So I know of people that are actually in their late 70s and 80s still paying retirement annuities because they're getting tax benefits from it. And I know people that have died and will die with retirement annuities that they have never converted into life or living annuities. So there's absolutely no more age restrictions on retirement annuities of any kind. Okay, let's see who's next. Muntuzi says, wow, really? Why not, and how to ensure this doesn't happen? Oh, that's back to Nat's question, so that's fine. Leah, it's a pleasure. Nat says, hi, max contributions for RA and pension plus tax-free savings account. Where else to invest 450k for retirement in 15 years? Okay, so you've maxed out your retirement annuity and your pension fund and your tax-free saving. I wish I could sit down and have a look at your portfolio because it sounds like you've got a very nice portfolio. Okay, where else can you invest 450,000 Rand? So the obvious choice would be an endowment, okay? The obvious choice would be an endowment because you've maxed out your tax-free, you've maxed out your retirement annuity and pension fund, so you're getting all the tax rebates you can get, you're getting all the tax savings that you can get, everything there is sorted out. So the natural thing would be to go to an endowment so that you get taxed at the lowest capital gains tax rate, and that's going to give you an after-tax income or an after-tax capital in 15 years from now. But there is another option. Another option would be to take that 450,000 and once again go and invest it into a retirement annuity. Doesn't sound like it makes sense, hey? Because I've already got my maximum tax rebate. So if I put this 450,000 Rand into retirement annuity, I'm not going to get a tax rebate. That is correct. But what the law says is, I limit you to contributing 27.5% of your income to a retirement annuity and pension fund, or to the maximum of 350,000 Rand per year. So you can't invest more than that and get the tax benefit. Okay, stops at that limit. But the law says, if you do invest more than that on a yearly basis, and I cannot give you the tax deduction of the extra investment, then it will roll over to the next year and we can see if we can use it next year. If we can't use it next year, it rolls over to next year. If we can't use it then, it rolls over to your actual retirement. So what this then means is when you get to retirement, and let's say you're going to draw 1/3 from your retirement annuity, which is going to give you R1 million. The first 550,000 Rand from your withdrawal, from your 1/3 withdrawals tax-free, I'm sure you all know that. So that 550,000 Rand of that million is going to be tax-free, and then the difference is going to be taxable. But now you've put in this 450,000 Rand as well, and you never got the tax benefit. So what the law then says is, okay, I'm going to give you this 550,000 Rand, but I'm going to add on to this the extra 450,000 Rand because I never gave you that tax benefit. So I give you the full 1 million Rand tax-free. So that can happen. If it comes to the point that you get to retirement and they do add this together, and you get your total 1/3 tax-free, but there's still money left over in your retirement annuity that you never got a tax benefit for, then when you start drawing the income, receiver of revenue says, okay, I'm not going to tax you on your income until you've taken everything out that I still owe you the tax benefit on. And only once you've taken everything out in income on a monthly basis, then will I start taxing you on your income. So that's a very interesting thing that people can also do, especially when you've got a situation like yours where you say, where can I go with the extra 450? So that's, I hope that one gives you something to think about. And this is interesting. I've got Nats and then I've got Nats D. And it's definitely not the same two people, but it's just very interesting that they follow right on each other. So Tusi says if you take out anywhere than the bank you can. So this, you're talking about the beneficiary nominations? Yes, but remember on your tax-free investments, tax-free savings account, no beneficiary. Tax-free unit trust, no beneficiary. Tax-free endowment, beneficiary. Hi Do, hy meneer wil graag hoor wat se platform gebruik jy om fondse dop te hou wat lekker werk. Though I'm going to answer this in English because of our language situation. South African English seems to be the best. Though says, which platform do you use to watch the funds? Which platform is easy to keep a watch on all the funds? So I don't actually have a specific platform. I think what you must understand though is that I work with these funds on a daily basis, because on a daily basis I deal with people and their investments. So basically on a daily basis I get to see the funds that I prefer to use and that I prefer to work with. I think I've mentioned it on a number of occasions that in South Africa alone there's more than 3,000 different funds. So nobody can know and understand all those funds. So I believe that one should have a core basis of funds. And when I say a core basis of funds, I personally have 4 or 5 funds that's conservative funds that I really like, that does well. I've got 4 or 5 medium risk funds that I use that does well. I've got 4 or 5 high risk funds or aggressive equity funds that does very well. And I basically look at those funds on a weekly basis. I see their performances on a weekly basis. Excuse me, I get the reports on them on a weekly basis, because on a weekly basis, on a daily basis, I deal with clients and their investments, and we have to discuss it. So my clients are basically all invested in those 15 funds, because you just can't keep track of so many. So because I deal with it on a daily basis, there's no specific platform that I have to go and check it out. I do things such as, if I want to see how the JSE is performing, I will go to MoneyWeb website, and I'll look at their graphs for the JSE, or I'll go to the Nasdaq graph and I'll go and check that Rand dollar exchange rate, euro dollar exchange rate. I'll just Google it. So in terms of that, certain things I just quickly put into Google, it gives us the graphs and everything. But for the funds specifically, I literally follow the funds that I deal with on a regular basis, basically on a daily basis when I discuss it with people. It's not to say that I never change these funds. I have investment specialists that on a regular basis, the investment specialist, portfolio managers, has meetings with us, and then they tell us, listen, yeah, this fund has been doing very well, and we know you enjoy that fund, but this is a fund that we think is well positioned. This is why it's well positioned. This is when it was started. This is the portfolio manager. And then if they tell me something about that fund that makes me believe that that fund into the future will do better for my clients or for a specific section of my clients, then I might bring that fund into my core group of funds and start using it going forward. So that's how I do it. I hope that works for you, mate. Mbuzo says, living annuity, take risk. Yes, Mbuzo, I believe that people can and should take risk with living annuities. And the reason why I believe so is whether you retire at the age of 55 or 65, maybe even 70, the life expectancy that we have says that men's life expectancy overall is 78 and women's life expectancy overall is 84. So if we just work from that principle, you have to look at when you retire. If you as a man retire at the age of 60 and your life expectancy is 78, you've got an 18-year investment horizon. So you've got a long investment horizon. And people don't understand that. Your long investment horizon was most probably from the age of 30 until 60 because you didn't save in your 20s. So it's a 30-year investment horizon. And in those 30 years, you took a lot of risk. You were willing to be very aggressive with your investments because you wanted the growth. Now you've got 18 years left, but you think because I'm going into pension, I must be conservative, I must protect my money. No, you must still take a risk with your money. So, because living annuities is normally taken out with the potential of, I would say, very seldom just 5 years, but the potential of 7, 8 years and longer that I'm going to get an income from it, you should still take risk on your living annuity because you want to ensure that it grows and because you've got a long investment horizon. Your investment horizon makes it ideal to still be on the aggressive side with your investment. Rui, hi, I have retired. Which is the best way to invest my money? Rui, your best way to invest your money is to go to my profile, get my WhatsApp number, send me a WhatsApp, and then myself or Mark from our office will make contact with you. We'll set up an appointment, we'll do a proper consultation. I or one of my advisors will do a consultation with you, we'll do a proper planning session for you, and then, once we've been through that, then I'll show you and tell you what is the best way to invest your money. And that is the best way to invest your money. If you don't do it that way, you're going to basically be doing what a lot of people do, which is a big mistake. Somebody tells them, listen, yeah, living annuities is the best thing. And they go to somebody and they say, I want a living annuity. And that person doesn't want to do the whole the big work of doing the planning session, and they just do a living annuity, and then you end up with most probably the wrong product and the wrong portfolio. So do yourself a favor. It's one of the most important decisions of your life, is how to invest your retirement money. Contact us, set up an appointment, let's do proper planning for you, and we'll help you. Okay, and that's the best way to invest it. Muntuzi, how does one max out? How does one max RA? First time I hear of this. I asked this as a 47-year-old female. You can't really max out an RA. When we talk about somebody that has maxed out an RA, the law says that the maximum contributions you can make to get a full tax rebate on your money is 27.5%. So to make it easy, if you earn 10,000 Rand a month, okay, then you can do 2,750. That's what you can do as a retirement annuity. And because that's 27.5% of your income, at the end of the year, SARS will say, okay, let's make it easy. Your annual income was 100,000 Rand. Your annual contribution is 27,500. You have made the maximum contribution you can make to retirement annuities to get the full tax deduction. And then they take that 27,500 Rand. They say, okay, what is your tax rate? Let's say your tax rate is 35%. They say 35% of 27,500 we're going to give back to you. That's what people mean with maxing it out. Because in my scenario, if you did not contribute 27,500 for the year as your 27.5%, and you've contributed 30,000 Rand, then when your tax returns goes to SARS will say, okay, you've contributed 30,000 Rand for the year, but your maximum contribution in order to get tax rebate is 27,500. So we're going to give you the rebate on the 27,500, but the other 2,500, we're not going to give you a rebate. We'll roll it over to next year, and then next year, if you then qualify, we'll give it to you then. But if you don't qualify, we'll roll it over and over and over until you get to retirement. So that's what we mean with maxing out an RA. It's maxing it in order to get the maximum tax rebate. But it's not maximizing it as in, this is the most money I'm allowed to invest. You can invest as much as you want in retirement annuities. I hope that helps. I hope that makes it more clear. Muntuzai, keep well. Matt says, thank you for the advice. We'll reach out for personalized planning as already have endowment with my endowment for nephew. Okay, well, fantastic, Matt. 100%. Like I said, in my profile is my WhatsApp number and also our website. You're more than welcome to go and have a look there and contact us there, and then we will help you. And tonight my throat is getting dry, but I did not bring a drink here because every time I sit here with a drink, TikTok thinks that it's alcohol and they start warning me that they're going to cancel my show. So I've got 10 more minutes before I can have water. Patricia, what funds do you prefer for a moderate, aggressive client for long-term investment on RAs? Okay, what funds do you prefer for a moderate, aggressive client for long-term investments on RA? Okay, so I'm going to try and explain it to you this way. Moderately aggressive, there is a number of combinations that I like using, and it just depends on the person sitting in front of me when I show them the portfolios, what they feel comfortable with. So first of all, I love Alan Gray's Balance Fund. I think Alan Gray's Balance Fund is fantastic. Old Mutual has got what they call the Maximizer model. I like that one. That is very nice. Then you've got what is called the Marriott Income Plan, which is nice if you want to build a portfolio. So the first two that I mentioned, I'll normally either use the Alan Gray or the Maximizer and put everything in there, or maybe do a bit of a 50-50 split, something to that effect. Other alternative would be to go and say, okay, listen, I'm going to give you a smooth fund, where I'm going to put a portion of your money. I'm going to give you something like the Married Income Fund, which is a more conservative fund, but it gives good returns. And I'm going to use a local equity and a global equity fund. And then what I have to do is I have to go and split these funds until it says it is Regulation 28 compliant. So I very often take those funds: Married Income Fund, Old Mutual, Absolute Smooth Growth Fund, Global Equity Fund of Old Mutual, Allan Gray Orbis Equity Fund, and then the Allan Gray Equity Fund and Investec Equity Fund, also known as 99 Equity Fund. And out of that, I create combinations that I put together for the client depending on what they feel more comfortable with. So those are two of the strategies that I use. Yes, I do use different other strategies, because every now and again somebody walks in that says, listen, yeah, I just want to do Sharia funds, that's it. Or I am not interested in any funds that is locally based, so I want to try and just do everything that's international based. And then we have to rework it, replan it, rediscuss it. Okay, Patricia, I hope that gives you a bit of an indication. OMJ, is better to be taxed now and contribute to tax-free savings account later when you contribute to? Is it better to be taxed now and contribute to a tax-free savings account, or later when you contribute to an RA? I think you misunderstand the concept here with regards to when you're being taxed. In terms of your retirement annuity, okay, your retirement annuity you pay with money that you've already been taxed on. Because your retirement annuity is your personal retirement annuity, and if you're working for a company, it's the money that you receive after tax has been deducted that you go and buy a retirement annuity with. The same with regards to tax-free investment. The money that you use to invest on a tax-free investment is the money that you get after you've already paid tax, because you pay it out of the salary that you receive in your bank account. So both products are being paid with after-tax money. So it's both being paid with your net income. You've already been taxed on your gross income. You get the money after tax in your bank account. Then you start saving towards these two plans. So on both these plans, paying it with after-tax money. The thing with the two investments is that both of them gives you tax benefits. Okay, and honestly, my personal opinion is the tax benefits might be a little bit better on the tax-free savings than what it is on the RA, but it is not majorly so. It's two very good products to get tax benefits. The decision with regards to which one you're going to take, to me, is how long am I going to invest for? How much liquidity do I need? Those type of questions needs to be answered, and once that's answered, then you can decide, do I go tax-free, do I go retirement annuity, or do I do a combination of them? Okay, OMG, I hope that answers it a bit for you. Nats D says, I wish I knew all the financial info when I was younger. I can tell you, I wish I knew it as well. I'm going to be very honest with you. I came out of school, I went to the army. And then from the army, I started working in the bank. And I was working in the bank for, I don't know, a year or 2 years. And everybody just, you have to have a policy, you have to have a policy. So I spoke to the bank financial advisor one day, and he said to me, what you need is this policy, it's an investment with someone. And I started paying it. I did not know what I was paying for. I didn't know why I was paying for it. As a matter of fact, this man never even sat me down to explain to me how financial planning works, whatever. He just said to me, man, you just sign there, the debit order is going to go off your account, trust me, it's the best thing for you. And as a young person, I was almost too scared and too stupid to ask, listen, tell me more. So I made exactly the same mistake. And you know what? On that first investment of mine, which was an endowment, I surrendered it a few years later because I wanted and I needed money. And guess what? I also got penalized, same as people complain that they got penalized when they withdrew their money early. I also got penalized because I paid the penalty of being in a 25-year investment, and when I withdrew it, I was only paying it for 5 or 6 or 7 years, and therefore the insurer said to me, okay, this is the value of your investment, but you need to pay us the cost for the next 20 years, and you haven't done that, so we're taking that off, so you're not getting that, you're getting that. So I went through exactly the same that, and I think that's why I'm so passionate about it these days, and that's why I try and educate people about it, because I know that if I had better knowledge when I was younger, I would have made better decisions. The problem is, unfortunately, that very little institutions, schools, anything is geared or wants to give people this education, and we make the same mistakes our parents made. If you grew up in a house where there was never a budget done, planning done, something like that, it's very unlikely that you will do it. I know that from experience. I know that from all the years that I've been in this industry. So yes, I would say I wish I knew it as well, but now that I do, I'm hoping to teach people. Oh, 5 minutes left and the battery is also going. I wish I knew. That guy, where is your Bafana shirt, Kune? Mate, it's too cold to sit with short sleeves here, okay? But once I sign up here, I'm in front of the TV. It's time. It's time tonight. When will markets turn? My good friend, if I had the answer as to when markets will turn, okay, I would be a billionaire. Nobody knows. Nobody can tell you for certain. We have good indications of whether a market is going to go up or down or whatever, but we don't know when markets will turn and have a real good run up or a bad run down. Forget about what the markets are going to do. Just keep on investing. That is the most important thing. If you keep on investing, you don't have to worry what the markets does. And by the way, markets have already returned. I don't know why people are still complaining about markets being down. My clients and the investments that they have all returned to what they were when the war started. So what is the story with everybody asking when will the markets turn? It's turned. Okay. Floyd, is it better to leave 500,000 Rand in tax-free savings and take it and lock it in for 5 years in an endowment? Oh, no, Floyd, you definitely leave it in a tax-free investment. Maybe not in a tax-free savings investment, a tax-free savings account, Floyd, because in the tax-free savings account, it's in the bank and those interest rates are pathetic. You can transfer that 500,000 Rand in that tax-free savings account to a tax-free investment, and that will be a good move, but not to an endowment. Because if you transfer it to an endowment, you're taking tax-free money and you're making it taxable again. Remember, the moment that money goes into the endowment, for the first 5 years, it is first of all tied up, limited liquidity, only 2 withdrawals. But the second thing is all the growth that happens in the endowment, all the growth, is capital gains tax. There's capital gains tax on all the growth within the investment. So the moment you take tax-free money and put it into an endowment, you're making tax-free money taxable again. That's not a good move. Rather take it from your tax-free savings and put it into a tax-free investment with a portfolio similar to your endowments portfolio. Then you're scoring, brother. And the last question for tonight, folks, Brad says, which will you recommend for the most returns? Tax-free savings 20 years or medium risk invest for 20 years? So, Brad, those two actually goes hand in hand, to be honest with you. Because remember, your tax-free investment... sorry. Now I see what you're asking here, actually. What would you recommend for the most returns? Tax-free savings on 20 years or medium risk investment for 20 years? Brad, a tax-free investment in medium risk. That's what I would recommend. In over a 20-year period, I will even go aggressive. But if you are one of those clients that feels that you need a bit of security, that's why you want medium risk, I will not go with the tax-free savings, because in the tax-free savings, the bank is going to give you 4, 5, 6, 7% interest in savings. But if I take your tax-free investment and I put that into a medium risk portfolio, I can almost guarantee you 9 to 9.5% return, because that is what the worst performing medium risk portfolios does. So absolutely 100% not a tax-free savings, definitely a tax-free investment in a medium risk portfolio. And last but not least, hi, did you answer OMJ question third from last? Let's see, what's OMJ question third from last? Is it better to be taxed now and to contribute? Yes, I have answered that one. Is it better to be taxed now and contribute to tax-free later? Like I said, both of these products are being paid by after-tax money. So you must understand the concept there. Your tax-free savings and your retirement annuity are being paid with money that you've already been taxed on. The benefit on both products is that the growth inside of them is tax-free. Which one of the products you're going to take is going to depend on your future plans. And ladies and gentlemen, with that we have come to the end of the evening and the end of my battery life. Have a wonderful week. Next week I will most probably be back at my own house, and then we will chat again. Go Bafana Bafana! All of the best everybody. Keep well. Nice seeing you all. Bye bye.